going to be a relatively comfortable French win, but it was anything other than that. This finished 14-21, and we had chaos right the way up to and past the final whistle. Joining me, because I'll be honest, I missed the first half. I saw the score, jumped in at half time and watched it. But luckily, one of my wonderful long-time followers, Mary, was watching this from the start. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good.
And as you say, this is your first time, so welcome to live stream videoing. You are now broadcasting to the world. No pressure. So the first half, from looking at the kind of the notes I can see happened here, we've got a missed penalty after the first 15 minutes. But who kind of had the first? How did the opening salvos pan out?
For me, it was totally intense. Totally Fiji playing like they were playing sevens. It was non-stop. And to be fair, France they played extremely well too. But I don't think they were expecting what happened. It was just this onslaught of flying Fijian rugby that we all love.
Well, I think it's fairly safe to say that none of us expected this to happen, not just them. From what I was reading, or from what the commentators were saying, that in that first half, the only thing that anytime France really managed to break down the Fijian defence was when they got the rolling mauls going off their lineouts. Other than that, the Fijian defence was top notch today.
Yep, Fijian defence was solid as a rock. Absolutely tremendous rolling mauls by France, and especially by Guillaume Guillardot. Absolutely a fantastic leader on the pitch. A beautiful rolling maul. I adore rolling mauls. I'm such a huge fan. And when I saw him scoring that try through that, it was just absolute perfection. I am between French and English, sorry. But the Fijian defence, their line was superb. But I have to say, hats off to Guillardot. Absolutely. If you love a rolling maul try, one of the best I've seen this year.
So they picked up two tries via the rolling maul, one of which was after the whistle at half time, which shows you that, Fiji were leading during most of this game. The opening try.
Connection lost.
No, you're still there. Don't worry.
Okay.
After the first try on 20 minutes, Radrada, how did that one pan out?
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you. We're all good.
Okay. Yep, good. I've always said something about Semi. Bordeaux is my team here in France. I'm a huge fan of UBB. And I would love to see Semi play with the same passion for Bordeaux that he plays with for Fiji, because he was unstoppable today. His runs were unstoppable. The French defence could not stop him. He was exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. Want to see him do that for UBB. That's probably not a good thing to say, but hey.
And yeah, so if you can't tell, even though we've got an Irish accent, we've got someone living in France here. And apparently the TMO disallowed a try in the first half for offside. Yeah. Was that what?
Yeah. He went back. Beautiful running Fijian try. He went all the way back to the 10-meter line for an apparent offside, which I found very tongue-in-cheek from a Kiwi referee, but never mind. But it was disallowed. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to wait for all the gifs and things to come out. Or the highlights to come out. But yeah, so a controversial one on the offside, looking at the comments I was receiving on Twitter. But even so, heading up towards half time, Fiji were leading 12-7. After the time was up, I'm assuming it was probably a penalty, kicks the corner, Maul tried to take the lead 14-12.
Yeah.
It's at that point that I started tweeting out to everyone saying, look, get on this game. This one could be history making. And then in that second half, that's what we saw. Vola Vola got a penalty first to kick ahead. That's not kind of what we associate Fiji with, is it? Kicking the sensible points to get the lead. It's kind of think of them throwing the ball around, but no, some sensible play by them to take the points and get themselves in the lead there.
Hello.
Don't worry, I can still hear you.
Okay.
And in that second half, basically, we had Fiji throwing it round, getting not quite being able to break the French down. But whenever the French got it, losing the ball, getting turned over at the breakdown. I mean, the ruck defence of Fiji was very impressive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's this thing of everybody was expecting Fiji will come out fighting, will come out very, very fast in the first half, maybe up until maybe 60 minutes and then kind of disappear, for want of a better word. But they never stopped. And it was their ability to steal balls at the breakdown. And for once, it wasn't just Leone who was doing it, because I think Fiji maybe often depend on him because he's the master of the breakdown. He's the master of the breakdown when he played at Glasgow Warriors. He's the master of the breakdown now at Racing and at Fiji. But there was more than him doing it today. And I think that's what was very impressive about Fiji, and very impressive the way that they defended. They had a defensive line that I don't think I've seen continue after 60 minutes. And right until the very, 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 very end, it was there.
And I'll be honest, I was thinking, we're down to something like 10 minutes to go. And we saw France basically camp in the Fiji 22. We had a number of scrums. We had a number of phases just 5 meters out. And I'm thinking, guys, keep the energy going, keep defending, because as you say, we're so used to Fiji getting tired at that point and not keeping up the work rate. But they did today. And I think their bench has got to take some credit for that as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. France never gave up. It was this continual pressure, constantly from France, constantly. It was, they have to, in front of their own public, they can't lose. It's a non-event. And
that's, as you say, you have to in front of your home fans. I mean, that's something we see in the French league. Is there are certain teams that win every single game at home and then lose all their away games because they just turn up at home, and that culture, that mentality, breeds through to the national team as well. They don't lose at home, or they don't want to, and we saw that, and then we saw the French just mishandled once, and it was pounced upon, kicked down the field, and a foot race that Thomas won, but he got bundled into his own end zone and an into touch, and suddenly we have a 5 meter penalty, a 5 minute scrum, which leads to the clock runs out. We have a scrum for Fiji that gives Fiji a penalty, and somebody runs on with the kicking tee. What old crazy scenes!
Yeah. That's what I loved about this game. It was everything you didn't expect to happen happened. And it was the whole thing of them taking every little opportunity that they had. Teddy Thomas is so dangerous, and don't give him like a millimeter because he will just take a kilometer. You know, you just don't. He's such a fabulous player. But somehow he was shut down, and it was just this kind of thing. You're watching, what? And then...
It's one of those situations where you're in your armchair, and I remember that there was a French golfer who managed to lose the Open one year, where everyone, the commentators, everyone on TV at home is saying, don't try and play out of the river, just pick the ball up and drop it, and you'll win it.
I can't. Yeah.
This situation here, we're looking at this and going, all you have to do is tap the ball and kick it out, and you've won the game. And that's what Volavola was telling them. But the referee was like, well, no, you've brought the kicking tee on the pitch. You have to now kick the penalty. And he's like, but what if I hit the post? He's like, well, don't hit the post. Volavola was clearly very angry with his support staff. I think it just goes to show that Fiji aren't used to being in these situations. And as a friend, as Ashwin, who's on the show regularly, tweeted out to me towards about 5 minutes before the go, says, yeah, Fiji are trying to lose this game in the last 5 minutes. And it did show that they were not used to being in the situation.
No, I don't think it's a good situation to be in. And it is a huge step for them coming up to the World Cup. Huge step for all the Pacific Island nations that can take something maybe from this. It shows they're no longer just a sevens team that we know them from. Their pace and everything is there now. They're also missing some players through injury. And you've got to think, ooh, next year? Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I mean, Fiji have had a nice, have one of their strongest schedules in a November window ever, probably. They played Scotland, lost to Scotland in the opening weekend. They then played, was it Romania? No, because it's USO playing Romania.
Uruguay.
Sorry?
They played Uruguay.
Uruguay, that's right. Yeah, so they played. They played a tier 2 nation in the middle weekend, which they won, and then they've come to this game and played this game and won. So they've had 2 tier 1 games in this window, which, let's be honest, is unheard of for a tier 2 nation to get. But Fiji clearly are. We talk a lot about Japan or Georgia being the top tier 2 nation. Well, actually, you know what? It's actually Fiji in the rankings. So they haven't had the scalps recently, but they don't have the preparation that Japan gets or the money they've got. So to have this set of games in this window has been fantastic for them, and they've shown why they deserved it as well. The other point is that if we look at their the Rugby World Cup, because
I think we're lost.
No, it's still there. With the Rugby World Cup group, they've got Australia, Wales in their group. Now, looking at how Australia's been playing recently, you've got to say Fiji have got a chance against Australia come the Rugby World Cup, and they could surprise some people and get through to the knockout stages.
Yep, absolutely. It would be fantastic. They're a team with nothing to lose, and that's the way they've got to think. Wales has everything to lose. Australia has absolutely everything to lose. Fiji have nothing to lose. So they just go out and play like they did this evening.
Absolutely. And they'll have, one of the good things about the Rugby World Cup years is that they get longer together, longer preparation time. So they'll be better prepared as well for this window. Let's be honest, they had probably less than a week before playing Scotland, whereas they'll actually have a series of fixtures and time together before the Rugby World Cup. The players won't be away with their clubs up until the last minute. They'll be in camp, which will give them a better chance as well. So, this one is going to be one that definitely people in Australia are already going, oops, we're in trouble. And I saw that before the...
Oh, you're gone again. Oh,
I saw that.
Really crap connection.
I saw that from the tweets going out. So anyway, we've got a bit of poor connection, so I think we'll wrap it up there. But Mary, thank you very much for coming on at the last second's notice and talking me through the bits I didn't see, and also bringing your French knowledge to it, because I must admit your knowledge of the French team is better than mine, and actually quite a few of the Fijians because they play in France. So wonderful game by Fiji. Don't forget to subscribe up there. There's 2 other videos there. I've done post-match reactions to England versus Australia and Wales versus South Africa today as well. So go check those out. It has been a feast of rugby. It's time to have a shower and some sleep.
And thank you so much for the invite.